What's up guys? Today I'm taking over How Tuesdays, well Thursdays technically, right? We're gonna be troubleshooting everything that could go wrong with the headset and how to fix it. So right here we have an integrated 1 1/8 headset. It is pretty much today's standard in BMX bikes as far as the freestyle world. Really easy to work on if you know what you're doing. So we're gonna take a deep dive. As you can see, she don't really look too good. But these are probably two of the most common things that I see go wrong working here. So we'll get started and take this thing apart and see what's wrong. First things first, your bottom race here should be pretty flush. You see there is a big gap here. You could tell something's wrong. So we're gonna open it up and see what exactly we got going on in there. Slide everything out. So, look at what we have here. This is what we like to call a double race. A lot of the new aftermarket forks come with a built-in race. The race is a little angled thing there, what the bearing sits on. And a lot of new headsets will give you an extra race. Reason being is, if we step over here, some of the older and OEM forks come without a race. This is what you call a hit-on race. Pretty much slam it on there, hit it in place, and that is your bearing seat. So now we have two problems. A lot of people, they take the bearings out of the bag and they just throw everything together like that, don't even notice they have two races on. Therefore, there's a big old gap, doesn't look right, doesn't perform right. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna get rid of that. So we have a right bearing seat. It's gonna sit right. And look at what you got there. Nice and clean. Second thing, bearings. Right here we have an integrated bearing. As you can see, it's flat on one side and angled on the other. And you can see which side goes where. And here we have the frame. And you can see there's an angled side. So you use a little bit of common sense. You would guess that the angled side goes together. You would be right. I have seen the opposite. Frankly, I don't know what the people are thinking, but it's a common mistake. Angled side faces the angled side. Pops right in place. Slide that together. Number 3, the Covex cone. This thing also, for some reason, gets placed upside down. I've seen it countless times. They'll pop it in like that, slide their fork in, and clamp it all together, and it just smushes everything and breaks stuff and makes your headset perform like crap. So, once again, we do have an angled side, and on the inside of the bearing, you can see right there, Alf, it is angled also. So what this is gonna do is it's gonna center your fork in place. So when you tie in everything together, both surfaces are mated together and it's nice and smooth.
What's up guys? Today we're going to be doing an unboxing and product review of the Urban Max C1 Hoverboard. Okay. I guess this is what they call a hoverboard.
Yo, does it have a seat?
Oh, it does have a seat. Look at the seat clamp.
Dude, this is gonna be wicked.
Alright, the cool thing about a lot of these is that they come about 80% assembled. You just have to put on kind of like the fringe parts, like the seat, the bar, and maybe that little basket. So this should be pretty easy. Ethan just loaned his services there. He figured out the kickstand. Okay, that's part 1 of assembly. Right, so this is how you assemble the fork and the bar.
You
have
slide
to
in the
slide in the
wedge.
goose. Then you tighten down that 6 mil
5 and
angularly.
Let's get it decent. Get this off. Slide it back on. Look at that. Look at that, everyone.
And it's assembled. I just gotta put the basket on. It comes with these tools, so it's pretty easy to assemble at home. Basket assembly. Hold on. Where's?
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's just back here. Okay. What did that take? Like 4 minutes?
Roughly.
Real easy. So all I gotta do is hit that red button. All right.
Oh,
Skedaddle, my
screen's
friend.
on.
Let's hit it.
I'm out.
Oh, this is nice. I'm gonna go to the very end of the parking lot and jam it and see my top speed.
Did it say how fast you were going?
It
How fast?
was a flying 16 miles per hour.
Hey, that's pretty good. That's way better than the scooter.
It feels faster than that.
Oh, it's rear wheel, dude. You could do burnouts with her.
Nice. Hit the brakes real quick. Oh yeah, she's on. How heavy is it?
Dude, like 20, 30 pounds.
That's not bad at all.
Not bad at all.
Hit up Urban Max. This is the C1 model. so you can cruise around in style. You even got a little basket in the back. You know?
Carrie, you live upstairs in an apartment, no problem. Look at that, one hand.
Shout outs to Urban Max and the C1 for sending it over for us to test ride. This is gonna be the go-to when we have to go run errands around the block. If you wanna find out more, the link will be down below so you can go pick up one of these C1s for yourself. They're really dope, pretty inexpensive, and really fun to ride.
Last but not least, we have the dust seal, kind of the headset cover, keeps everything clean. This thing right here is gonna be placed on top. So what can happen is when your Covex cone isn't tall enough, when you tighten this down, your dust seal hits the top of your frame and it binds it. So people be cranking down their headset, they're like, it's still loose, look, it's still loose. And it just binds the top of their frame. What you can use to fix that is you have these little, really super duper 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 thin headset shims. This goes in between the Covex cone and the top seal. Put that in together and you can see there's a nice gap. You don't want it too big, you don't want it too small. Now we got everything together the right way. I'm gonna pop this on and you can see all that we just did caused the headset to drop. So another issue people have is they'll tighten this down really tight. Look, it's really tight, but you can see it's still loose.
29.
Reason why? The top cap we have here is actually bottomed out on the fork tube. So pretty much the flange of this thing is hitting the fork tube. So it's bottomed out. You can't compress it anymore. What you can do to fix that, you just add a spacer. Therefore, you have a little bit of room for your headset to compress. You want, I would say, 1/8 of an inch between the top of your stem and your fork tube. So we're gonna put this together right here. Clamp it down, and look at what you got. Nice and smooth headset. Not super tight, but performs just right. So those are all the fixable problems. There is a few other problems that can occur that you can't really fix, you don't really have any control of after. So one of those things is your head tube. It can be dented or stretched. So if your headset is loose like this and you keep riding on it, what's gonna happen is your head tube's gonna stretch ovally. What happens? Your bearing's not gonna sit right and it's gonna be kind of loose forever. Unfortunately, there's not really a fix to that besides getting a new frame because the metal itself is stretched. Another thing, if your head tube is bent, that could actually happen. I've seen it a lot in shipping. Sometimes FedEx, UPS, not to throw them under the bus, but when they mishandle the boxes, it could land right on the head tube and bend the very front of the frame. So the dented head tube, you'll see this is perfectly circular. It's gonna hit right there. It's gonna give it a D shape. What's gonna happen? Your really snug fitting bearing is not gonna pop in really easy. It's gonna be almost impossible to get in. That is unfortunately another one of those issues you can't really fix besides getting a new frame. So those are kind of two of the most common issues that I see that you can't really fix. Now parts wise, I have also seen headset bearings completely blow out. So this thing's kind of a fixed cartridge. You can't really take them apart, but in extreme cases, on really big impacts, I have seen these come apart in a few pieces and the ball bearings go everywhere. Fortunately, just like that, there's not really any fix. You could try popping them together. They're not gonna really perform as great as a complete sealed cartridge. So you just have to get a new headset. It's $35 just for the assurance you're gonna have a nice sealed headset that's gonna perform good. Okay, last but not least, creaking. Headsets, they're moving parts, so it's gonna be very prone to creaking. One thing you can do is lube and clean. A lot of times when you take this out, they're gonna have a lot of dirt and gunk that just builds up, especially if you're riding dirt jumps, places like that where a lot of dust, dirt, it's gonna stick to the inside. So pop this out, you're gonna give it a good clean wipe. Grab my rag here, wipe it all down, and now you have fresh clean metal, and then you can put some nice grease in. Just use some OG grease, it doesn't matter as long as it's grease. Pop some grease in there and that's gonna help prevent any creaking. I like to put it on any of the moving surfaces. So put a little bit on the race, pop the bearing on, put a little bit on the bearing, put a little bit on the frame right there, pop this in, and last but not least, put it on your Covex. And therefore, all moving parts has a little thin layer of grease around it, and that's going to prevent metal on metal squeaking. which is your main culprit of squeaking. And I would say that is about it on how to diagnose headset problems. Like, subscribe, comment, buy us food. I like McDonald's.